Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick from Final Save Point Crew. I've got a couple days myself. I got a birthday coming up in a few days, so not planning on doing a whole lot of anything anytime soon. So, let's see. I've got a few things I want to talk about. This is going to be kind of like my first. I was talking about doing like rant videos, and this is going to be sort of my first rant video. So, I'm going to try to keep it short, like 10-15 minutes. And maybe try to get my point across. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, one of the things I want to talk about is here in the Pacific Northwest, there's a few industries that are real important, like Boeing, Microsoft, whatnot. So you guys might have heard a lot of people lost their job at Microsoft. So pretty much the Redmond uh, revenue system is going to be screwed up for a little while. Um, so basically what happened is they said it was from the Nokia acquisition that they did. And to be fair, a lot of people from that will be losing their job later on, but they're downsizing or restructuring is the word they said. But they got rid of a lot of other people, and one of the most public figures that they got rid of was Jerry, who you guys know as Barnacles on his channel. He does like the Nerdgasm stuff and all that. And actually, I want to say, I'll try to put like a thing here or down in the comments where you guys can like find his channel and subscribe. He's pretty cool. He's silly as shit, and there's been a few awkward videos on the toilet. But other than that, he's good people, and I just want to say, Jerry, if you're watching this, you'll figure it out, man. Don't sweat any of this. You will just kill on YouTube and in life, so you'll be good. Don't worry, man. Um, so it sounds like they laid off a bunch of people who were actually kind of important, like their Q&A staff, the people that make sure that Windows bugs are worked on and stuff. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they hired a bunch of Chinese people to work on it or something, or what's going on, but I don't like to pass judgment on Microsoft because they're local folk and they help contribute to the local economy. However, I've been feeling kind of disjointed about Microsoft lately. I don't feel like they understand where they're going and why they say they're doing this restructuring. I don't think they still know. They've changed their messaging like 17 times on just about everything from Windows 8 to the Xbox. It's bugging the shit out of me. It really is. Like, they're now saying the Xbox is like a games machine, but my problem with it is it's still built like a machine that's supposed to be like a media console first and then a games console. It's still got the two HDMI ports on the back. They just basically yanked Kinect out of it, and to me, the Kinect was kind of the one redeeming feature of it, because it was like, if I was going to get that, which I wasn't because I'm not into that kind of thing, I would probably want that so I could use it with my TV. Um, but having said that, I was like, I don't watch TV anyways. I honestly, like, I can't think of any show on TV that I watch besides Cosmos and Ninja Warrior right now, and I'm fine with that. And I'm like, that's like not even a solid thing. It doesn't mean I'm gonna like see it all the time. If I miss it, oh well. I'm not, it's not my main form of entertainment. So I can't figure out what they're trying to do with that box. Originally, they had it kind of set up like Steam, where they were doing like a Steam sharing, family sharing sort of thing, and then they crapped out on that, and now they're yanking the Kinect out, which is a pretty big feature of the thing. You still got the HDMI ports in there if you want to do the TV thing, but I guess you have to do it with the controller now, and the UI kind of still sucks. It's not really that great. Um, and then you look at Windows 8, it's got some of the same problems. It's got this tablet UI that doesn't need to be there for desktop machines. I don't understand why we can't have a version of Windows 8 with just basically a registry edit. They're like, this is a desktop version. It's going to have this. It's going to look like pretty much mostly like Windows 7. Actually, there's a few things I like better in Windows 8 that I can get to faster than Windows 7. So I'm not going to completely throw it under the bus. But why can't we have something in the UEFI that just like tags this device as a tablet or tags this device as a PC, and the registry edit or some kind of registry edit so you can sell a different version or something, so the Metro will come up first or something. I don't know. But it just didn't seem very well thought out. And it seemed like they've been chasing everybody else's tail, whether it's Apple, whether it's Nintendo's Wii success or with motion control or whatever, and not really thinking of their own, like what they need to do. What they need to stop thinking of gimmicks and start thinking of actual usability and what people want to do. And I don't feel like that's what they've been doing. So hopefully after this restructuring, there's a much more clear path. But the gist I got from some people that I know that worked at Microsoft seemed like there still was not a clear idea of where the company was going. It was just kind of like floating off somewhere. And it's been that way for a while, like with Zune and whatnot. So, and then you've got other companies in Seattle, and I was thinking about this very, very closely. Now, we got another company in Seattle, it's pretty big, you might have heard of them, called Valve. But they're not as big as Microsoft for obvious reasons. But they've got their shit figured out. Now, a lot of people can say, like, kinda, there's that whole SteamOS thing. I think SteamOS is a fine idea. I messed with it the other night, and it's getting better. It really is getting better. It's not there yet, and I think for them it's a long haul deal. I think they're probably getting it out there now, and they have nothing to lose by keeping it out there for the next 10 years. It's just the library's gonna get bigger, and it's gonna get stronger support. So I think it's a long haul idea for Valve basically to do that. Now, I want to use them as a good example. They're kind of thinking out of the box, but they're not throwing all their chickens in one basket. They're still doing the same things, the same services as they were doing before. They're still kind of doing the same kind of games that they were doing. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, there's no Half-Life 3 yet, but you got to give them credit where credit's due. I mean, Dota is a pretty big success. I mean, we're looking at the international now, and it's huge. And they might be a little bit busy with that right now. But, you know, they were doing Portal 2, and they got some people working on Conversion, which is like sort of like the semi-prequel to Portal 2, sequel to Portal. So they still have their core values. They're still doing their same thing, but as they get bigger, they're expanding, bringing new people in to go out and set on these new ventures. To where it seems like Microsoft, as they were expanding and getting bigger, kind of started doing that, but then it got to a certain point where it was like, Apple's like taking our old tablet idea and made it usable and sexy, and we should go back and try to do that. Or the iPod is really big, let's go do this Zoom thing. You know, and then they'll throw like all their eggs into like that one basket. And it's like, if you need any more clear proof of that, it's like, look at Windows 8. Windows 8 is for tablet use. Like, it was completely set up to use with tablets and the system. It's a good idea. I like the idea of like having one system across both. But for me, somebody that doesn't use a tablet, it's not a big deal. I just want a desktop, you know? So there's this like weird duality in that company that I don't understand. And I was like really thinking hard about what could cause that. And I remember listening to Gabe Newell talk one time. I can't remember it was at a college. I can't remember what school it was. Anyways, he was talking about like their philosophy, and he even used an analogy one time that was pretty funny to me. But his whole point is he says the reason Valve is able to work as well as it does is because as far as like restructuring or anything like that for whatever, everybody's desks are on wheels. They can move around. If you need to work on this project, then you go over there and you work on this. Or if you want to work on something else, you go over and work on this project. Everybody's opinions do matter. A lot of companies, you'll get people on the lower totem pole that don't feel like they can speak out against something. And I think that's like a large majority of what seems to be going on at Microsoft. Because he talked about how he got people from the movie industry. Mostly it was people from the movie industry. But also people from like Microsoft before, and they come in with what's called beaten wife syndrome, or what they've nicknamed it. So they'll be in meetings, and these people will never speak up. And it takes them for a long time to figure out that, okay, at Valve, it's okay for you to have an opinion, speak up, and speak your mind, and, be heard. And it doesn't mean everybody's going to agree with you, but, you do that. And it seems like a lot of companies that are publicly traded, like Microsoft, get to a point where there's so much minutia and bullshit that it gets people on the lower end of the totem pole are just basically worker bees and don't have any opinion in anything. So with Valve, they've purposely set it up so everybody can have their 2 cents in there, and then they can work together to make the best product, hardware, whatever they're doing available. And he's purposely kept the company from being publicly traded on the stock market, so he doesn't have to worry about investors telling them what they need to do in that. There's no outside influence. It's just controlled internally in the company. To where when you look at Microsoft, you have to do kind of point at the shareholders and really say, yeah, a lot of this is kind of your fault. You want it all, and we don't necessarily know how to do that, but because you guys are the boss, we have to go do that now. So that's just been my 2 thoughts over it for the past few days. I don't really have anything more to add to that, but it's really a sad chain of events that's happened here, and hopefully a lot of people, their families and stuff will get back on their feet. Hopefully, hopefully this restructuring makes Microsoft a little bit more like Valve in a way. I kind of doubt it, but I've kind of lost faith in Microsoft personally. I will say that I've had a few instances where I've had issues with a Windows machine. Sorry, I keep on messing with the bottle cap. Where I've been messing with a Windows machine and just said something on Twitter about how I was getting pissed off about Windows 7 or 8. And within like an hour, somebody on Twitter from Microsoft support says, "Oh, we're sorry to hear that. Do you want some help?" And it's like, no, I got it. It's cool, but, they are on top of the game with like some things, but just not everything. I don't understand why. This is another thing I thought about recently with them. They've got Windows 8. Windows 8, and there's a lot of PC gamers out there like me that prefer to do that. I don't want an Xbox. I'm not ever going to want an Xbox. I do want your games. I just don't want them on the Xbox. So I don't understand why, you're telling me I need to have, when I have already paid $100 for your operating system, okay, why I need to go pay more money for a console that I don't want to go play Halo. It doesn't make any sense. Even if you were to like say, okay, it's Xbox first and then maybe PC like a year later. And it shouldn't even really be a maybe, it just should. But instead, if you look at it, it always feels like the Xbox division and the Windows division are kind of remind me of like Steve Jobs with his Mac division and Wozniak with his Apple III computers, like their division, back in the 80s fighting each other, trying to see who could like do the best job. Or just plain fighting each other in that case. That never made any sense to me. And it doesn't make any sense to me now, like in this case. Like it took them forever to get a driver for an Xbox 360 controller. And they've said some stuff here and there is coming out on Windows PC. But it's like, guys, you need to understand, you can't have your platform of choice already. You've got the operating system. People, if you make it more accessible for the people who are trying to use the desktop and the tablet separately, and just make those talk to each other. And you can do it by making it the same OS. Just make it like, there's like a version of it for tablet, and then there's a version that has a different UI for Windows. I know it sounds like a little bit more, but whatever. It just feels like they're always butting heads and they're always fighting each other, and instead of actually working together and be like, okay, we got our team working on Halo for the Xbox, and then we'll have another team, a Windows team, that's kind of mirrored onto you guys, working on the Windows 8 version. And it should, I don't think it should be that hard. I mean, they use DirectX for the Xbox and they use DirectX for Windows. I mean, I don't understand what the issue is. Anyways, as a gamer, I'm kind of pissed at Microsoft. Um, it's plain like this. The only thing I like out of the Xbox is the controller. And being a tech guy, understanding how cores work and CPUs work, and resolutions and all that stuff, asking me to go to something that's a lower resolution, especially somebody with 20/20 vision, is a hard thing to do. I can't just do that. Okay, it's like asking somebody who's been playing on an Xbox 360 and a PS3 this last console generation for this generation to go back to a tube TV. It doesn't work. Okay, I want to play it my way, and I've spent money to play it my way. Okay, and if you want me to buy your game, you need to facilitate it for me to play it my way. If not, you will not be getting any of my money because I am not buying an Xbox unless you make a version of the Xbox that lets me play it the way I like, which is in 1080p. I know people are going to be like, it's not a big deal. It is to me. If it's not a big deal to you, that's fine, but it's a big deal to me. So it's sad that it feels like there's this going on, button heads inside the company itself. So hopefully they straighten it out. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to leave it off there. I went over 15 minutes. Last thing I want to say, I've talked to a few people from Final Save Point crew, the old crew. We'll probably do the Final Save cast every once in a while. I don't know what we can do for scheduling because these people have jobs too, They have things they have to do. Getting everybody corralled to do it, but a few members do have webcams now. So we'll probably do like a disjointed podcast until everybody gets on board, to where you'll hear some disembodied voices with some people on webcam. I'm going to try to do a few more like little commentaries, rants like this, just whenever I can, because they're easy to do and put out there. And then I'm going to do more system builds, and I'm going to do one today or tomorrow, depending on how much time I got left. Basically a Steam machine. So we're going to do a complete build for Steam OS, and try to make it as cheap as possible, small as possible, and include a controller and either like a home theater PC keyboard or just regular mouse and keyboard for use. I'm not going to worry about monitor or any of that, because really I think most people will be using this. They're going to hook it up to an existing TV that they have. But anyways, so we're going to do that and just try to do one of those. It'll probably be APU based. I'll try to do one with a graphics card too, but we'll see. Anyways, until then, I will see you guys later.